Well, those are the areas that I have to watch out for. But then other than that, it also took me so long to get where I'm at that I can avoid, I can sort of avoid a lot of the pitfalls that I saw that made people go up and then come back down again, which is sort of, settle. Yeah, man, I have arrived. And then you stop working on your act,
right.
You're partying more. Back in the day, it was you got a sitcom and you stop doing stand-up. And I got to see all those guys when they spit out the other side with their syndication money and stuff, so they were all right. But they would go down to the club, and it was like, I equate stand-up to like music, where every 5 years there's a change. It's like it went disco to metal to grunge to boy bands, and somewhere in there, hip-hop crossed over into the mains. I'm just talking mainstream white shit because that's all I know.
Gotcha.
Hip-hop crosses over into mainstream. Where then it just takes over the whole countdown to that level. I know there was the Run DMC Aerosmith thing, so I don't need the fucking text messages after this, or the emails, whatever you call them. It's comedies like that, and shit that it's weird, like rhythms that flew 5 years ago are now corny. And because if you're in it every night and you're down there, you don't notice it subtly changing and you subtly changing.
Yeah.
But you got to be neck deep in it. You got to be working with younger comics. They'll keep you young.
Yeah.
Because they're the next kings of the castle, and they are going to take over because every generation, needs their bands and their movies and their comedians. So, so I don't know. I've seen a lot of looks like one of those heart monitors, people's careers. So I don't ever think it's just going to go like this. So,
I've always wanted to ask you this though. I mean, it's like you're always, like you say, you don't care about what necessarily the outside forces, but you're very much like on the cutting edge. You're the things that you talk about, how you talk about them. Like one of my favorite things about you when I'm watching you, like at the Comedy Store and you're working something out, you always start at an outrageous place. You started an outrageous place that makes everybody go, what the fuck is he about to say about this? But by the time you get to the end, you very much have explained, which is the brilliance of your style. Is like you make a statement, it might rub people the wrong way, and then you explain how you got there, and then we all go, okay, I totally get where he's going with this now. You know what I mean? But like,
yeah, if it works, if it doesn't,
right? But like, do you think that and when you were coming up, I'm sure you this was what you were doing, but like with the internet and social media and the cancel culture and all that, do you think that if you were starting now, do you think that you could have done it the same, or would you have had a different way of doing it?
Yes, because you're talking about such a small portion of the population. Then they just, they're brilliant with what they do. They know where to apply pressure. They apply pressure on money. They go after corporations and they make threats. And corporations, they act like the mob. So it's just like, oh, this guy's a problem. He's more problem than he's worth. Whack him. We'll get another guy in there to collect the numbers, So, but because that's how they do it, they appear much larger than they are. And if I learned anything this weekend, but you can't believe some of the shit that came out of my mouth. One joke in particular, I would never do that, where people had phones on. And what really pains my comedic heart is that it fucking killed.
Got you.
Is that it killed?
Yeah.
So, and it was deliberately offensive and absurd. I was talking about the mask signs that they had. They had these masks that said "Be kind" with a little heart on it. And I was just like, that sign is so stupid. Because that sign appeals to people who are already wearing masks. That is a beta, roll over, show your belly mask.
Yeah.
It's like you want hardcore Trumpsters that think it's bullshit. And if you want them to wear masks, you have to speak their language. So the new advertisement was over the top homophobic, using homophobia to make it seem like they were gay if they didn't wear masks. No, I ain't no queer or whatever. But it's just one of those jokes where now if somebody were to film it, what they do is they're like surgeons. They take out, you use this word. This is a bad word.
Yeah.
And you used it. And then that means that you have issues with gay people. But it's not all gay people. Because you know what's weird about that joke? I wouldn't do that joke in front of a mainstream crowd unless the phones were locked. But I would do it at a gay club.
Right. I know.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
There's a lot of jokes.
I know exactly what you're saying.
In front of an all-white crowd if it's about race. But I would do it in front of an all-black crowd.
Yes.
Because, and it's you kind of have to be a comedian to understand that dynamic where it's just like, because they are all gay, because they are all black or whatever, they know that there's no way I don't know that.
Right.
So
it's just white people a lot of times.
Funny, they're going to laugh knowing that you're joking, that you're making fun of the thing, not doing it. And then the other way is if, there's a few gay people in the crowd, a few black people sprinkled in the crowd or whatever, right? And you do the joke, and then white people do that, and then they look at said group.
Yeah.
Then it just becomes this fucking pain in the ass. Well, I mean, it's easy to get out of it. The black people, the white people looking at you to make sure it's okay, that dumb shit. But
unfortunately, you have to do that. Unfortunately, it's like, because you're really saying, in your mind, you're going, in my mind, I'll just speak for me. I'm saying, when I say that to a crowd and I see white people doing that, there's an anger in me that I get, because I'm just like, you don't think I fucking see these people in the crowd? I'm up here. I see all of you. You think that I'm just doing this for you? Like, the arrogance of white people in the crowd to think that we're only speaking to them, and then they have to look around and make sure, hey, is everything okay? It's like, hey, the world don't revolve around you motherfuckers. Look around.
Well, this is what's funny about you, is you with just a mustache, how you look, you can get away with more ethnic shit than you with that salt and pepper beard.
We'll see.
All of a sudden it starts to, I don't know, is this guy Italian? Is the Egyptian? What's going on here?
Yeah.
But if you just rock the Tom Selleck, then, and you come out and do, like, establish yourself, then there's all of these rules. That's also something that I do love about comedy. But, like, it is, as a comedian who loves comics, it is kind of painful watching comics attacking other comics on social media sometimes. And you want to be like, guys, let's get each other's cell phone numbers and have it out. Let's stop the cannibalism here. This isn't good for anybody. However, having said that, I've made fun of some comedians' tweets on my podcast. I am a hypocrite.
Well, I mean, something that you were just saying that I feel myself too. I think that, I guess my question I'm trying to ask you is that, I think that there's a purity to, like, doing a joke in a comedy club in front of people where it stays here, where it's like, can we just have this experience right here? But with social media and so much comedy on television and YouTube and all this kind of stuff, I think it dilutes it, and it also takes away from that, like, hey, we're just having a moment here. I'm saying this joke here.
You just got to block that out, Eric, and you just got to plow ahead and just, that's it. You just have to block, because it still is great, and it still is special, and it still is intimate, and it's not like every show you do, somebody's posting clips trying to take you out.
Right,
it's
right.
just,
of course,
what they've done is they've instilled this sort of fear. So that's why, my last special maybe was the way it was, because what it was feeling claustrophobic, and you're trying to push it back out. I think a few of the comics that I'm really a big fan of, I noticed that they were going harder. And I think that is the cure to this, where it's just like, the harder they come at you, the harder you got to go on stage, because what they're doing is, in my world, is unquestionably wrong. And I don't think it's going to stand the test of time when people look back and